New You Coaching and founder of NewYouTV. And today we're going to talk about how to feel better now from the inside out. And we're going to talk about money. How about that? So today, to talk about money, I have Deanna, good friend of mine, Deanna, here with us. And I guess you're asking, what does money have to do with feeling better from the inside out? So I'm going to let you explain that to our viewers, Deanna.
Well, money is in everybody's life. It is a great part of your life, and it causes a lot of stress. And it causes a lot of stress with relationships, with yourself, the sleepless nights, if money's not flowing your way. So what I do, I teach people how to prosper and how to feel good about money and how to control their money and basically and how to control themselves. So your life will be a whole lot smoother and just a lot happier and a lot less stress.
That makes sense, doesn't it? So you are a Dave Ramsey financial management coach. So can you tell us about a little bit what that is, and just briefly, who is Dave Ramsey also, so we will know?
To be certified by Dave Ramsey, you have to go to his class in Tennessee, which I did 13 years ago. Dave Ramsey has written several New York Times bestsellers. He has a radio talk show. He's been on TV several times. And he's developed a course called Financial Peace University, which I've taught 40 times at my local church.
There we go. So I guess we'll wonder, how did you get started with, being a financial coach? What was it in your life that happened? Did something happen that got you into this field?
Actually, I had a job in outside sales, and I drove 5,000 miles a month within the Beltway. And one day I was literally
We're talking about Houston here now.
Yeah,
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas.
Lots of traffic.
Lots of traffic, lots of fight and flight syndrome going on all day long. And one day I was just really tired and I was falling asleep, which is not a good idea. So I hit AM and hit search, and somebody, said, somebody talk to me, wake me up. And so this guy was on the radio, and I actually thought he was some kind of nut, and I've told him that he was talking about money, and people would call in and say, this is my situation, what should I do? If you were in my shoes, what would you do? And I thought it was quite entertaining because I have an MBA in finance, so I thought I knew everything. And so I thought he was, every time somebody had a question, I had a different answer than what Dave did. And so I thought, this is really cool. This was quite entertaining. It woke me up. It did its job that day. So the next day I found the radio show again. And by the third day I listened to it, I realized, what he's saying makes a whole lot of sense. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've been taught all this time. And one of the things he always says is go home and write down your situation. And so I went home that weekend. I said, this ought to be fun. I'll find out how rich I am. And what I did find is I was absolutely broke.
Ouch.
Yes. I wrote down my income and my outgo, and I was $50,000 in credit card debt, and I had never written it down, so I hadn't acknowledged it. And so I put what he teaches into my life, and I paid off the $50,000 in 18 months.
Wow.
And I just thought, I can share this with others. I can teach them to prosper too, because it's not really a debt situation counseling. If you are in debt, we address your debt, but it's not, you don't necessarily have to be in debt to benefit from what I do, because my program teaches you to prosper. And getting out of debt is one of the steps. There's 7 steps to the program. So that was what my personal problem was the $50,000 in debt. And if I can do it, you can do it too.
So you can't fix what you don't acknowledge, correct?
That's correct.
I think that's Dr. Phil that tells us that.
Yeah,
so ouch, $50,000 in debt?
Yes, it was. Have you ever had that white noise feeling where you think you're going to pass out? And I was really glad that I had a cold tile floor to lay on. I thought, how did I do this to myself? I'm supposed to be an educated person. And so I'm saying that anybody can do this to themselves. And what I had told myself is that everybody's in debt. What's the deal? They put it on TV all the time. It's part of our lives. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing this?
I'll be 13 years in May.
Okay. Great. Well, that's fantastic. You got rid of $50,000 in debt. Wow.
Right. And what I do for folks is one-on-one counseling in my office. I always tell people that my office is Vegas. What goes on there stays in there. Everything's confidential. Mm-hmm. If you want to share with people, that's great, but I won't. It's just like going to a doctor. They can't tell your neighbors what you have. So I don't tell your neighbors your business.
Yeah.
And I've had families call me and say, how'd the session go? All I can say is great. They showed up. I don't tell people, what's going on in their lives. And if I meet you in the grocery store, I always say I met you in a networking group or I met you at church. You tell people that I'm your coach. I don't.
Well, let's say that I want to come and see you in your office, but I'm so embarrassed because I am in debt, and it doesn't have to be 50,000. I can be embarrassed, and I think a lot of times, because being a coach too, I feel like people feel like we're going to judge them, and they are so embarrassed that they won't even pick up the phone or send us an email to even get started. And you have to get started to get some help. So let's say that I find out about you and I really need some assistance here with my managing my money. What can you tell people to ease their fear or feeling, I guess, just embarrassed about where they are with their finances?
I always say, he who without sin can throw the first stone. And I tell people right up front, and I was going to go out to the whole world my story about being in debt, and I was embarrassed too. I didn't tell my family. But you know what? You have to ask for, have to get the help. And you have to ask for the help, and the help is here. Ready to help you get you on that path and get over the embarrassment. Believe me, if it's been done with money, I've done it twice. So most of the time, I've worn your shoes. So I can't.
You've heard about it, anything and everything, I'm sure. So you don't have to be embarrassed. But
no, it's no embarrassment about it. The embarrassment would be to stay in it.
Yeah, and help not going to come knocking on your door. You have to actually reach out to people. And as a coach, we won't bite, and we're not going to judge. And we're just glad that you ask for help, and we're glad to help. Correct.
And it's not just it's your health. When you're so stressed out, stress will kill you. I just spent several $1,000s on repairing my teeth with orthodontic work because I used to grit my teeth at night because I couldn't sleep over it. Yeah. And people have heart attacks. People, unfortunately commit suicide over it. How can you have a relationship with another person if you're always arguing about money? You spent this, you spent that. We just have to put all that behind us and move on.
Yeah. And deal with it, so you can feel better from the inside out.
Inside out.
Yeah. So what I heard, you have an office, so you do you meet people one-on-one or face-to-face.
I sure do.
Okay, and you have an office in Conroe, Texas, correct?
Yes. Well, it's actually, the address is Montgomery, but it's in between Conroe and Montgomery on 105 West. I always tell people I'm between the bars. Papa's on the lake and Sam's boat, and they say, "Oh, I know where that is." I'm actually in the K-Star building. It's a radio station, and they allowed me to have office space there. So it's kind of fun to watch the DJs and come see me at the same time.
There you go. Let me ask you a question though. If I'm across Houston, because Houston's so large, let's say I'm in Pasadena, but I feel like it resonates with me. Is there somehow you can do it over the phone or Skype, or do I have to come to your office?
Well, I have done sessions over the phone because I have clients in New York. I have clients in Indiana, California. It is more personal if you do come in, so we can see eye to eye, and I might be suggesting something, and you're over there on the phone rolling your eyes, and I don't know it. So I always tell people that I make appointments 7 days a week. So if you can come on Saturday or Sunday after church, that's great, because I realize I don't want people to take off work to come see me and lose money. That's not productive. Childcare is sometimes an issue. Maybe you'd rather come during the week and take off work because your children are in school. Just whatever fits your situation.
What about evening hours? Are you available?
Yes,
I am. By appointment?
Yes, by appointment in the evening.
Yeah. So. Okay, great. Where can we find out more information about you? Have a website?
I do. It's www.debtfreeconroe.com, and it's got a lot of information about my testimony. It goes a little further than what I revealed today, and other people's testimonies, and what the cost is, and there's what I call preparation forms, and you can download your preparation forms ahead of time and fill them out. Because the preparation forms draw a map of where you are. It draws me a map, but most importantly, it draws you a map, because sometimes that's the first time you've ever written it down. And
that might be so scary you might not want to show up in your office after you look at that.
And I tell people, I pray for them every time somebody prints those out. And if they have any questions at all or any stumbling blocks, pick up the phone and call me, and I'll walk you through and explain to you what I'm asking for and why I need it.
Sounds great. Okay, so we found out that you are doing one-on-one coaching and that you will offer it on the phone or Skype. Is there anything else that you do except one-on-one coaching with people?
I do. In some cases, people do not have time or the ability to pay their bills, and I do offer that. We set it up where I can pay your bills online. Different situations. I have one client that's had a stroke. I've had another client that has mental issues. I have several that are just very busy business people that say, I've got somebody at work in my office to pay the office bills, but I get home and my lights are turned off. I just don't have time. Can you help me? And I have several clients with that situation that there's some people that need a little bit of help paying their bills, say an elderly person that they don't have their adult children around, or they don't want their adult children to know their business.
And there we go. We don't want everybody knowing their business.
And they want to make sure their bills are paid on time or their money's managed. Yeah. And so that kind of situation comes up too.
I also know that you do workshops ever so often. Can you tell us just real briefly about these financial management workshops?
I do. A lot of times companies will ask me to come in and speak to their employees. When people aren't stressed out over their money, they make better employees. Mm-hmm. And so I come to the workplace and give a little seminar on how to get somebody started or what some basic issues are, things to look at. And many times the employer will pay for my services to have a one-on-one to get them really on track, if they choose to. So that's another option.
That's another option. And we can just contact you through your email then. Go
to
my
email.
If we need that service. Okay.
Yeah, my email and my phone numbers are all on the website.
Okay, so before we leave then today, can you leave the viewers with just some little tips or some technique or something that they can start doing today to feel better now about their management of their finances?
Well, about this time of year, I start getting a lot of people in my office that I find that they get large tax returns, like say $6,000 is a common figure of a tax return, and they're struggling each month to pay their bills. And I tell them, why are you getting such a large tax return? Adjust your withholdings to $6,000 is $500 a month in cash flow that you're lending to the government interest free. So instead of doing that, adjust your withholdings to bring home that $500, or maybe if you're nervous and don't want to pay anything, $400, and be able to pay your bills that you're paying 24 to 32% interest on the outside instead of getting that large tax return. So I say figure out what your tax return is, divide it by 12, how many months is in the year, and figure out how much you're overpaying each month and lending to the government for free.
Great tip. And I know Deanna's got a lot more of those. So anything else that you feel like the viewers need to know right now about you? I mean, I know they can go on your website or they can call you, but anything else that...
They're welcome to give me a call, and we'll talk your situation over and see if we're a good fit. And just come on in, and we'll sit down one-on-one and get you started. I always tell people, what are you waiting for? If you wait another month, that's another month in the hole. So
there you go. So what are you guys waiting for? Call Deanna. So anyway, well, thank you for watching this episode of NewYouTV, and thank you, Deanna, for all of your tips and information. And as always, I want you guys to be courageous, take action, and make it happen. And do the things today that will guarantee you the life you want to live tomorrow.